I talked to my friends about this, and I think, I understand. Let me just be understanding to these folks. But social media can become a place where we go to fight. You go because something else is wrong in your life, and here's an outlet for a lot of people where it's like, I can get me a fight in. And whatever you're not saying to your boss, whatever you're not saying to your neighbors, you can go say it to some stranger. But I'll notice at times, like my friends, I'll text them and be like, hey, you kind of spiraling out on social media and you're arguing with people. I don't think these are people. Like John 4927.08, I don't think that's an actual person, but let's say it was a person. Is this a person worth responding to? Like if you were walking down the street and this dog avatar person was a real man and they said some craziness, would you stop and be like, hey, buddy, let's have a discussion? You probably walk by him like, that's a crazy person. I think that has contributed to a lot of what we've been going through in society for the last few years. Is just there's something inside of us that doesn't want to admit this is not real. And if we all could do that, we could disempower those platforms. But because
that's right,
there's something inside of us that we want the conflict. We want to feel like we matter. And if it's a person arguing with you, you feel like you matter, even if it's a damn Russian.
Correct. And that is the problem of America. We need attention because we haven't really given people skills to develop themselves, so they don't need outside reinforcement. We're going to talk a lot about that today. Roderick Morrow is here, and I'm so grateful. So what did you and Karen do on election night? Because we haven't talked since then.
So on election night, we did the podcast.
You went live.
Yeah, we just didn't talk about, like, we didn't do any, hey, Nevada coming in. We didn't do any of that. We just did our regular show. We talked about our general feelings about elections and about the outcome and how to deal with the anxiety of it. Because, I was feeling anxiety about it. I'm sure other people in America were feeling anxiety about it, because it's a night, once you get to that night, it's out of your control. If you did everything you're supposed to do, I was trying to explain to people, especially through like therapy and stuff, how I've learned to focus and deal through my anxiety. Because part of anxiousness is worrying about a future you can't control or a past that's already happened. And so I'd like to focus on my past actions and go, what did I do? Like, did I do enough? I was outspoken. I was vigilant. I reached out. I used my voice as loud as I could. I said, everyone listening, I know our audience. Y'all early voted. I saw y'all was phone banking. Like, we did our thing.
Working the polls. Yeah.
Right.
Taking people to the polls, registering people to vote.
Yes.
Making sure. Yes. Yeah, no, we were that.
We spread information. I was on here. Right. You was telling people when the deadline was for early vote. Like, I said, if I've done all I can do, I have no regrets. I won't feel bad about what they do to themselves at this point, because I can't stop somebody who literally looks at a black lady and goes, I like my freedom, but not from you. I can't do anything for that person. You know what I mean? God. Like, so for me, it was easy. And so we just discussed those feelings. A lot of people said it was helpful for them. And, and we never discussed it in like the terms of like, she's going to win. It's going to be, we just discussed it in like, it could go either way because it's America. And as a student of history, a person that's read a lot of books about race in America, I hate to be cynical, but they prove me right so often. You can never feel that it's safe. You can never feel that it's in the bag, because it's America, and America has a long history of whitelash, a long history of conservatism, a long history of empathy for people that pull us back. And so if you know that history, it's hard to get too up or too down. You just kind of got to do your best and let it be what it is. So that's what we talked about. And then we talked about a bunch of silly, like, news and fun stuff to get people to relax.
Which we're going to do today, by the way. I got a story about Lamar Odom and a sex toy. And I got, the Australian break dancer who won the gold medal. She's retiring. We got some stories. The monkeys are still on the loose, the 40 monkeys in South Carolina. They haven't been captured. I got theories. I'm sure you do too. We're going to have a conversation today, and I appreciate everybody who's here. And you know, the saddest thing about this period of time, but it's also to somebody who's wired like I am, I'm excited because we get to reimagine what it looks like now. We get to start from scratch. We know what doesn't work. We know what hasn't worked. No more relying on institutions that worked in the 19 teens and the 1890s that no longer are working for us because they have been co-opted and, co-opted. I think that's the best word for it. They've been co-opted and, they're working for themselves, not for us. Okay, let's put them down. Let's put them to the side. We're going to need some lawyers. We're going to need some lawyers, some real social justice activism lawyers who are going to go in the lab. People we're not going to see on TV because they're busy working. People who work ain't got time to do all of this. I promise you. I promise you. You ain't got time to be on everybody's show. And if you do, I'm questioning your work ethic. I really am. Right? So in media, we're going to have to reimagine what that looks like. And for me, I feel a grave responsibility because I know what it's supposed to look like. I don't have the bandwidth to actually sit and craft what it should. And it's a damn shame. I'm looking at all these institutions like, really, y'all? Y'all not going to do just the basics? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one of the first calls I made was to Michael Harriet. I'm like, what you doing? What's going on? Journalists, let's go. And I made a couple other phone calls. I'm like, okay, journalists, time to come on now. All right. Books will be there. Yeah. We got work to do. And I'm inspired by the Chicago Defender, and I'm inspired by the Wilmington Daily Record, and I'm inspired by Ida B. Wells, that people did this work in a time when their literal lives were on the line, places being blown up and their lives being threatened every single day, people being lynched. They got out and reported. We can do that today. Yep. Okay. Yep. If you can do them scroll for an hour, damn it, you can tell me what's going on in your backyard. Let's go. Yep. So agreed. I'm inspired. Okay. I don't know if I had the time or the energy. Let me just be 100. I'm one person. And sometimes I do feel overwhelmed. I'm doing this, that, and the other, but it's like, I see all of the needs and then I try to tap people in and I realize they ain't ready for it. You was like, oh, this is your platform. And then you realize who's a fraud. Oh, you really ain't about this life, or you don't know what this life requires because you out here running your mouth, but here's the work. Cause I'm showing you what the work, I know what it looks like and you can't do it. You got a lot of excuses. You hemming and hawing. Where's the manifestos? Yeah. Where are the blueprints and the plans that you said you don't have them? Because I don't have the bandwidth. I already told you that. You said this is your thing. So if it's politics, let's go. Yeah, this is. But I'm gonna start talking about people who say they can do stuff and then don't do it.
This is when fighters fight. This is when workers work. This is when you take care of yours. This is when community matters the most. We had a chance to, if you're in the activist space, we had a chance to pick your opponent. That's what a president is going to end up being. People chose to play the game on all Madden. They turned all the sliders all the way up to the top and said, we want this. And so the fight is going to be different. It's not going to be as glamorous. And you're not going to get that 2016 white guilt economy. That ain't coming. So if your whole plan was like, this thing is going to fall through, but then I'm going to reap the benefits when all the white people feel bad and they put their pussy hats on and they go like fill up the GoFundMes, that is not happening. They picked this on purpose. This is not, they either picked it on purpose or they sat home knowing what would happen. So if you think that's happening, it's not. DEI departments are gone. They have been ripped out of these companies. It's up to us now. And we're all we got, our voices and our work.
I need that on the loop. They don't care about your George Floyds, and there's not going to be a Department of Justice that will care. See, I'm gonna say less. Your cousins and them gonna be deported. Hey, y'all, watch. And Mexico don't want your ass, so everybody trying.
But how's that working out for you?
It's not gonna work out. Canada's gonna be like, where you coming from? Yeah, no, we're good. Mexico's deporting people back into America. I'm like, that's so chef's kiss to Mexico right now. Chef's kiss to you. The Mexican president, the new president, a woman, was like, I can't play it because it's in Spanish, but she said, I'm not recognizing Trump. And I need a recount. I need to see what's going on, but this man does not align. It's like, I'm not accepting these results. She was like, I don't care about him, but she told him Trump is no reason for concern because we could take care of our own. You know, people going back home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she's like, yeah, nah. Scotland rang in, which was hilarious to me. Like, so here's what happened, right? We had a civil rights movement. A lot of the world was behind. They watched what happened. We had Obama. People came out in Germany for Obama, 15,000 people. And they were like, wow, we can finally have the kind of world. And they believed it. They didn't realize, they didn't know what we all kind of knew inside. So now everyone else is progressing and we're going backwards. And they're like, wait, hold up. Yeah, we don't want to be like that. So the Scotland Parliament had a fight. I'm going to play a little bit of it. Yeah, it was wild. Okay, play it, Smith.
The First Minister offered congratulations to the convicted felon Donald Trump on his re-election. Writing officially on behalf of the Scottish Government, he wrote that he is sure Scotland's cultural and social ties with the US will flourish during the presidency of a misogynist, a climate denier, a fraudster, a conspiracy monger, a racist, a far-right politician who tried to overturn an election result both covertly and by inciting violence.
Pause,
Words fail me.
Pause. So apparently everybody in the world knew what the hell was going on here but us? Okay, so that was Patrick Harvey. That's Patrick Harvey. He's a member of the Scottish Parliament, and he was leveling this claim against John Swinney, who is the first Scotland's first minister. And he was like, so you sent a congratulatory letter on behalf of Scotland? Yeah, nah, son. That's not, we not, nope.
Yes.
I said, what? Okay, finish him undressing this man.
What social and cultural ties does the First Minister really think will benefit from a relationship with such a man?
I have a duty as First Minister of Scotland to engage with other governments and to represent the people of Scotland in that process. And as part of that duty, I wrote the letter in question that Mr Harvey cites. I think there are deep cultural, social and economic ties between Scotland and the United States of America. I think they're important. They're important for employment in our economy. They're important for the cultural expression of our country and for the way in which we are able to pursue those objectives. So, whilst there are very clearly, because of what I said before the presidential election, very big real differences in expression and in priority and in way of life between me and Donald Trump, I cannot deny the existence of links between Scotland and the United States.
Signaling something. You know, it's going to be wild, right? Because as the rest of the world gets more educated, as they lean into their children knowing things like history, you know, he's saying something about Scotland. Scotland participated, a lot of Scottish participated in the enslavement of Africans in the New World. My name is Scottish, Hunter, you know, and you think about that deep history that we never really talk about, the Scottish, the British that kept, you know, I'm doing this whole, you know, deep dive on New York and those ties to not just Washington, to Churchill. And I mean, like the ties are, very, very tangled. So he's saying something too. Wait a minute, we can't afford our little tiny island to reject the leader of the largest military behemoth, who is who's going to be a dictator, who is going to punish his enemies. We don't have to smoke for that. So he's saying something too, which he's not wrong. He's got to protect his people, but the people are going to speak. And the Scots, the Irish, Ireland is right now, they got a crack epidemic. Nobody's talking about it. There's a crack epidemic going on. They're in the 80s now. They're black people in the 80s, and Ireland is they're having that experience. What you think is going to come out of that? Like, there's a lot of things happening geopolitically that most of us have no clue about. We just sitting here. So you voted for Trump. That's good. Okay. Watch what happens. It's going to be really wild as the world makes its decisions. And most of the people who are brilliant, who have good economies and a good, you know, society, they're not with this. So they may go along for a minute, but then on the other side is BRICS, which Russia and China are part of. But at the same time, they playing marionette with Trump. There's the dollar may not be the dollar in a minute. The things you think you are, you know, flexing when you go abroad, may be stripped from you in the next couple of years because Trump don't give a damn about this country or our currency. Yep. He cares about the billionaire class, but they are global. They operate in crypto, and they got other ways that the oligarchs of Russia. This dollar means nothing. So if BRICS is where the people are with the real power and money right now, and you got South Africa in there and all these other brown nations. I mean, it's child. So yeah, black people, this ain't none of our business at this point because we did everything to try to, but I'm just gonna.
He won on a message of what he would not do for other people, So these people that voted for him and those that sat it out, they were not motivated by what somebody would do for them.
Correct.
Like Kamala Harris was given all the plans, all the commercials, all the economy, all the inclusion, all the love and support, all the first-time home buyers, all that type of stuff. They said, we're not motivated by what you said you're going to do for us. We like a guy that tells us what he will do to immigrants. We like a guy that tells us what he will allow police to do to black people. We like a guy that tells us what will be happening to trans people. Like, that's what they were into. So internationalism was last on their list. Like this, that's not to cast too many aspersions, I'm still a bit angry, but that's why the people that were internationalists that were like, no, we can't have any more of this. We need, Democrats need to learn the lesson and we need to get Trump. I'm like, okay, but the consequences are on you. You can't have it both ways where the results are never your fault. Like the consequences will be on you. Whatever he does in office, you need to own that because you thought that this was a necessary thing to happen that was going to somehow swing us back to a morality that you would like to have, that you could be a part of. And just through my studying, I'm just a country lawyer. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the smartest man in the world, but everything I have read about America, when these swings happen, they do not snap back left. They just don't. They snap back to the center. And then people will say they're disappointed with centrism. They're disappointed with Democrats leaning towards the center. And every single time I'm like, it's us. We will let ourselves get pulled to the center. And that's what's going to happen is if you get another election in 4 years, you're going to have a party that feels like, well, we better run to the center because these other people won't vote. And you're going to have everybody else slide to the right. And that's what happened with this electorate this year. You had people that voted, they slid to the right. You had a lot of new voters who were right-wing voters. They weren't normally, you get your new, like, oh, I'm young, I'm a Democrat. First-time voters being Republican. The country is telling you that it's not going to do the thing that you think they're going to do. And that guilt that you're going to feel and that stress over the next 4 years, that's going to make you go, because that's how it happens. They get all stressed out. Then they be like, oh, we need to really get some Democrats in here. It just moved us to the right. They won't be the same Democrats that you had just now.
College campuses right now. I pray for people who are on college campuses that are not HBCUs. I'm looking at a lot of the young white men on the campuses putting up signs like I own your body now. We already, and
I pray for the ones on HBCUs because the funding is about to get closed up. Like, don't forget that that's what Trump did. Biden and them funded them at record rates. Like that's why I didn't hear. I could not stomach any pro-black person telling me why we needed to let Trump win. You can't be pro-black and pro-Trump. It's impossible. We finding out. We gonna find out. And this ain't even really the beginning of finding out because he don't take office yet. Wait till he take office. Y'all gonna find out.
Correct. That part. Oh man. 866-801-TALK is the number.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in. Just what I needed. You're the closest.